Hey, I'm Alec Benjamin, and I just did an interview with the Zach Sang Show, and we talked about some of my new music, and yeah, check it out.
Let's do this. Zach Sang Show.
You're a business person, Alec.
Am I?
Yeah, you're an entertainment mogul.
I wish I was. That would be tight. I went to like my friend's Christmas party a few days ago, and my mom told my sister that I was going to a Christmas party, and she said, "Oh, I bet he's going to P. Diddy's party." And then I was like, why would she think I would be invited to that? But then I told her that I was. But if I was a business mogul, I bet you that would be a party I would have been invited to.
I think you deserve to be there. P. Diddy.
You should tell him. Maybe I'll be there for his next one.
He wouldn't know me at all.
Wait, are we filming though? We're already going. Okay, all right, sick. All right, never mind.
Hello, beautiful human. We got a Dan here.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
And we have Alec Benjamin back in the studio.
Hey. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for bringing your energy back into this room.
Thanks for inviting my energy back into this room. How
You're-
close does this microphone need to be to my face?
You're good.
I'm good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, your energy is always welcomed in my zone. And seeing you at a show, or getting a text from you, or you coming here, whatever it may be, any smidge of your music, even when I listen to my car, just as a fan,
Thank you.
your energy is always deeply appreciated.
Oh, thanks.
And it brightens my mood.
Wait, I got you. You saw it when I walked in, so I won't pretend that you didn't already see it.
You got it. You brought us another gift. By the way,
I brought, this is for you guys. It's for the holidays, and there's a card in there for you as well.
Ali, can you?
Yeah.
Can you grab that for me? Thank you so much. Can I open it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, awesome. By the way, I did tell everybody that in return, I will gift you one of our knickknacks because Dan wants that gone.
I'm really nervous because I really want to say funny stuff and be entertaining, but I'm
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's for you guys.
Oh, you really went all out, and there's a card. You're very kind. By the way, I have a coupon from the last visit of yours where you
Oh, I made you one.
Yeah.
What was it for again? I can't remember.
I believe the coupon was for a gift.
Okay, well, that's it. There it is. I'm going to need the coupon back from you now.
You reuse those coupons?
Wait, did you already give it to me for... Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean?
Wait, did you write something in that card?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Open it up. Let's read it.
Oh, okay. Happy holidays. Oh, that's a nice ornament. Exclamation point. Oh, wow. This is really nice.
Yeah, that was a serious one.
Yeah.
You could read it if you want, but...
Only if you want me to.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for supporting me and believing me.
Believing in me, not believing me.
It's very nice.
It's good that I'm here actually while you read it, because you would have thought I was saying something completely different.
Thank you for supporting me and believing in me when nobody else did. I love you very much and hope you have a wonderful holiday. Love, Alec Benjamin.
Let's go. Hey, it wasn't meant to be read on camera, but now you guys know that I'm a sweetheart. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, I love you two very, 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 very much. And I really am very appreciative of you taking the time here. And
yeah, honestly,
man, your life has been wild over the last couple years since the first visit to this show.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a wild ride. And the coolest, most rewarding part of all of that is getting to share your music with fans. I love when people come up to me and they go, I loved your Alec Benjamin interview. And then we have the opportunity to then connect on your records and talk about your music and talk about the stories you tell. And when I tell you that those fans range from a random human at the grocery store to I was in Vegas and I just happened to run into a guy by the name of Terry Fader, who was the first guy who won America's Got Talent. He also signed the largest contract in Vegas history. He sings as puppets.
Okay.
The guy
Oh, I know that guy.
He freaked out.
I don't know him personally, but I know of him.
He's very talented.
Yes.
Really incredible. He freaked out over me because of you.
Oh, amazing.
And all we did for an hour and a half was talk about your music.
Well, thank you for that. And I know a lot of people have discovered my music through the interview that I did here, and it means a lot to me. And also it's fun, not funny, but it's interesting timing because I think the that was when it was like I had just put out Let Me Down Slowly, but no other songs, I think. And then my album was like sort of like I was just finishing up my album, and now I'm in sort of the same position. Well, it was a mixtape, right? So this next thing is going to be my debut album. But I'm in like, it's like the same timing, you know, I just put out like the first song off of this next sort of like batch of music. So it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like, yes, it's not weird. I'm happy to be here. It's nice to come here and talk about my music.
Why is Mind is a Prison? Why is that the first story to kind of start the flurry of the rest of the stories, to kind of set off the album?
But wait, I didn't mean to be like, I wanted to hear the rest of your story. I didn't mean to be like, okay, now I want to talk about my music. I was just like, I just thought the timing, like, I'm not like media trained or anything, you know what I mean? I wasn't, that wasn't like the point of that. I wasn't trying to like,
Okay.
But yes, I just remembered that.
Make it a little bit colder in here. For some reason, I'm sweating.
Okay.
By the way, it's your look, to be honest with you.
Right now?
It's this fresh look you got going
This
on.
striped t-shirt?
Yeah.
Or long sleeve?
And your very
Thank
cool
you.
rolled up pants.
I called my friend Caitlin, who is very stylish, before I got here this morning, and I was like in my underwear. I was like, I have nothing to wear. What should I do? And she's like, let me go through your closet with you. And we went through all of my stuff, and she was like, that's what you should wear. All right.
Who is your friend Caitlin? Is she
She's just like, she's a friend, and when I need help figuring out what to wear, she helps me do that.
Who told you to roll your pants?
She did.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's responsible for this iconic look.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you still living at your mom and dad's house?
I am.
So
They're trying to get me out, but but I think I'll be there for a little while longer. You know, it's like especially after tour, it's nice to come home to my parents, and you know, I like being around my mom and dad. You don't get to have your parents forever, so the time I can spend with them now is nice, and I spend a lot of time away. So when I come home, it's nice to have food in the refrigerator, which is a real reason why I'm still at home.
And they do love having you.
I went to the grocery store when I was living on my own, actually with a roommate, when I was still in college. And I walked into the grocery store and I was like, this is crazy, but I have no idea what to buy. Like, I don't even know where to start. So
Is that like I don't know if that's a sign of massive success, because like Oprah doesn't really go to the grocery store.
Oh no, that was just a sign of me like having lived at home and then going to college and just like not ever having like cooked anything or bought food.
But
so
isn't that the whole thing about like even moving out of your house for the first time? You realize like there's so much that you need that you just don't even think about. Towels,
yes,
like bath mats for your bathroom,
Toilet paper.
paper towels,
there's a lot of stuff.
dryer sheets.
There's that too. These are all things that I've learned that you need.
By the way, so I hope you're okay with this. You've sent me a lot of music of yours over the
Yeah, but a lot of it is not
going to be on the album.
great. So some of it won't be on the album.
Wait,
I wrote a lot of new songs in the last few months that will probably be on the album, but I'm still figuring it out. But it's like, I don't know. It's definitely been a weird process. I thought it was going to get easier, like making songs and putting music out after the first time I did it, and it didn't. So
why?
I don't know.
What's harder about it today than it was before?
Well, I think, like, mentally, I went through some ups and downs, and just, like, adjusting to being on the road and stuff like that is kind of difficult. So writing songs, before I was writing songs, and that was all I was doing, and then I was, touring, and with that comes all the travel and airplanes and things, and then in between all the touring and stuff, you're trying to make new music, and also you don't have as many life experiences or you don't have so many life experiences outside of just sitting in an airport, or like in the back of a tour bus, and so it's hard to come up with things to write about, when I spend a lot of time by myself, sometimes I just think a lot, and then, I end up in a bad place because of that, like when I spend too much time alone.
Which is Mind is a Prison.
Yeah, that's why I wrote that song.
Yo, beautiful human. I got to talk to you about ASU. If you're considering going back to school, you should ask yourself the following questions. Do you need the flexibility to take classes on your schedule? Do you have college credits that you need transferred? Do you want to earn a quality degree from a world-renowned university? If you answered yes to any of those questions, Arizona State University is the perfect school for you. Arizona State University offers over 200 highly ranked degree programs, 100% online. You're going to earn the same degree as you would on campus from wherever you are on your schedule. Plus, ASU Online accepts most transfer credits. For more information, text Zach to 35517. Learn for yourself why the Wall Street Journal ranks ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates, and why 87% of ASU grads really are recruited within 90 days of graduation. Learn to grow, learn to succeed, and learn to thrive at Arizona State University. If you want to learn more, just text Zach to 35517. More information on the ASU online degrees, just text Zach, Z-A-C-H, to 35517. Are you spending too much time on the road alone?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just on the road, but I guess I just spend too much time in my own thoughts, just overthinking things and getting worried. And I maybe that's because, like, when I was sharing music before, I didn't have anyone listening. So when I put stuff out, there was not that many people on the other end, so it didn't really matter. I wasn't so worried about it. And now I have some people, a lot of people, that I care about what they think, and I don't want to disappoint them. So that to me was like probably the hardest thing. Also, there was this is pretty personal, but have you ever listened to J. Cole?
Yeah.
So he has a song called Let Nas Down, where it's like talks about, you know, how Nas was like, yo, you're the one, and then he put out, you know, Work Out for Me, which was like a little bit more pop, and then he heard that Nas was like, man, J. Cole, but like I can't believe he put that song out, like that's not it, you know, and so he writes a song about how he felt after he found out he let Nas down, and like the whole time in my head, like having John Mayer find my music was like the coolest thing ever. But now in my head, I'm like, man, but what if I put out a song that he doesn't like? You know, like he's gonna hear it. That was like added a lot of stress, but not in like a good way. I just don't want to let anybody down.
But so does that pressure hold you back from even starting the creative process?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you find yourself... Then what is your standard of good now compared to before? Like, how do you know you have a record that you're proud of? Like, what is it within you that kind of...
I don't really. That's why I send it all out to people, because I'm like, I want to know what people think, so I can kind of get a sense of whether or not the music is like where it should be. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to know when I feel like I've got the songs. At a certain point, the label's like, you have to put out an album. So then it's like, okay, time to wrap it up. I got to kind of go with the best of what I got, but it's hard. I don't know. I think also having Let Me Down Slowly was like really it was cool. But also I was like, oh man, I'll probably never make a song as good as that again.
Which is, I think, the craziest thing ever. But I understand. I understand that feeling, and I get it.
Right.
But know something, from the outside looking in, from a genuine fan who's understood your work and has even listened to a lot of the new stuff that I hope makes it to the new album. Mm-hmm. You're putting that in your own head.
Well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. I hope that you're right, because I have this like, it's like sometimes it was awesome. That's like everything that I always wanted, you know. And then in the back of my head, sometimes I'm like in a session or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I really like this song, and then there's a voice in my head. It's like, yeah, but it's probably not as good as Let Me Down Slowly, you know? And I'm like, which is not even my favorite song that I made. It's just, you know, I don't know. It just is what it is.
But because that's the one that got the streams and the radio play, you see that as the bar of success. But these stories are you, Alec. Is it hard to? I can't even imagine being in your shoes.
Well, I mean, I'm not complaining at all.
No,
you know?
but it's hard, dude. Like, even somebody critiquing something that is so
there
true
are things
to
that
you.
are way harder than that. You know, I can't complain about it at all. I'm not like in any way like, oh man, things are like, life is so hard. You know, I mean, it's hard for other reasons.
No, but it's the fear of judgment off of a piece of art that you've created that's based on what you've lived.
Well, I'm lucky enough that I have the opportunity and an audience to actually like judge the music. So, because for a long time I was putting out songs and like no one was listening. So like, this is a much better position to be in. But you know, I suppose that doesn't mean that it doesn't come with its own challenges. And I think maybe that's one of them, is just being a little bit concerned that your music is not going to live up. Your new music is not going to live up to the music that you put out before.
So are you questioning this new album that you've written or you're creating right now?
Yeah, I question everything I do though. So like, I've never made something and been like, yeah, this is it. You know, this is the one. Like, this is perfect. You know, so that's just kind of like, oh, I can't cross my leg that way. All right, I need to figure this out. Yo, I can't. I'm actually like not. I'm kind of small, but I'm not that small. But my feet can't even touch the ground. All right. Okay. I'm good now. I'm back where I started. Which is actually like sort of this small thing that just happened right here is like exactly like, I'm trying to find a way to relate it to my creative process, but it happens like that. Like I had a song that I wrote a year ago and then I liked it and then I hated it and then I made 8 different versions of it. And then I went back to the original version and someone sent it to me. I'm like, yo, this one's pretty good. Like, when did we do this one? They're like, this is the first one that you sent in. Like, oh, we should go with that one. You know.
What song are you talking about?
I don't know if I could say yet because, well, it's a song I can't say, but it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what song it is.
Why do I feel like it's at the bottom?
It's not.
Because you sent that to me twice, but like 6 months apart.
Yeah,
or 4 months apart, something like that.
That's a song that it's not that one. But there's a lot of songs that I've done that on as I'm going through the process, and it's rare. I never really just write a song and then I'm like, oh, this is it and it should come out this way.
Are you happy today with Narrated for You?
I give you a different answer every day, probably. I wake up some days and I really like it, but I was never really 100% like happy with it when I put it out. I didn't think that it was like, there's some, I don't know. I have a very complicated relationship with my own music.
Is it hard to perform your own music because the relationship is complicated?
Sometimes. There's songs in there that I go back and forth on, and some that I didn't love when I put it out, and some that grew on me later, and you know, I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but I think that I'm finally starting to be, I'm never like, oh, it's perfect, but there's a point where I'm like, okay, I'm at peace with the music that I'm about to put out now. And like, I was at peace with that one, and now I'm at peace with this one. But I never felt like, there were songs that I wrote that I'm going to put on this next body of work that I saved. I didn't put all of my favorite stuff on Narrated for You, because this will be like my real sort of statement, like this is the album, and I knew I was gonna need to save some songs, so I didn't put all my favorite ones on the first project.
Because there was a period in your life where you were just writing a song a day.
Yeah, I still try to do that, but it's not really possible to do that now. Yeah.
Well, what do you write about now, since like you said, you're just sitting on buses by yourself all the time?
Well, a lot about that, and hopefully in a way that's relatable to people. Because like I think the last 6 to 8 months for me, even though that so much cool stuff happened, I feel like it was emotionally like a very difficult time for me. I'm not sure 100% why that is, but I wasn't really, I don't know. I don't know, and so that was like what My Mind is a Prison is about. And I only put the song out like a few days ago, and when I made it, you know, it's not like a you know, the stereotypical sort of singer-songwriter love song. So I was kind of didn't really know how it was going to be received, and I suppose that like remains to be seen because it's so early. But the comments on the video are all people being like, I totally relate to what you're talking about. I understand what you're saying, and to me that was cool to see. I mean, it's not cool to see that other people are also like, you know, maybe struggling a little bit, but it was nice to know that I'm not alone, and maybe nice for them to know that neither are they.
The story is so vivid, and you kind of document this like internal struggle. Said, even if it's true, no matter what I do, I'm never going to escape. I won't give up on hope, secure another rope, and try for another day. Said, even if it's true, no matter what I do, I'm not going to escape. I won't give up on hope, secure another rope, and try for another day. Like, it's, dude, it's a beautiful way to tell that story.
Thanks.
You're essentially trying to escape from your own prison. It's like you're Rapunzel and you're using sheets to like create a freaking rope to get out.
Yeah, I just thought, I've heard that saying before, like my mind is a prison, so I thought it'd be cool to write a song about, taking the metaphor a step further and just like sort of, what if it was an actual prison, like trying to write the song about like a jailbreak, because I always feel like I'm trying to get out of it. Someone will say to me like, or my mom will be like, yo, you should learn how to meditate or whatever, and then, or you should, exercise or do these things, and then I kind of do them for a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I'm cured, and then I have like another, I fall off or whatever, and then I feel like I'm right back to where I started, right back in like the cell that I was in.
Are you writing all these new stories alone?
I mean, I always write my lyrics by myself. I have, I worked more consistently with like one or two people on this album, and they kind of just let me talk about the things that I wanted to talk about. Whereas before, it was kind of like I was just getting started and figuring out, the best way to make my music. And I feel like I've kind of zeroed in on at least the most enjoyable way for me to write my songs, and that's allowed me to be more personal.
What is the right way? Is it to have a tight-knit group of producers around you so you don't have to get to know people every time?
Well,
comfortable?
I like to. I mean, the song, I write some by myself, like in my room and stuff. But I mean, I work with this girl named Alex Hope a lot. I feel like I write probably, and this guy named Scott Harris, he's cool. Well, I don't want to like leave anyone out, but the people that I work with on this project, I feel really comfortable with, and they kind of just let me talk about the things I want to talk about. And they're like friends of mine, and they're amazing. And that's kind of like the best way for me to do it.
Is OMG going to be on the album?
Yeah, that's going to be on the album.
It's a hit record.
Oh, I hope so.
I can't remember who I was just last December. What have I done? How did I get here? Mm-hmm. What are you reflecting on?
So I came into the studio one day, and I was like having a really rough day, and I think I was like sort of like taking for granted how cool it is that I get to come to the studio for work. And I was like, man, I looked around, I was like, this is so cool. This is everything that I wanted, and I'm not even happy. And then I was like looking through my phone, and I saw this picture of me like maybe a year or 2 years ago, and I looked thrilled, And so I was like, oh man, what have I done? How did I end up in this position where I'm looking in the mirror and I don't see the same person that I was 8-9 months ago, a year ago? Like, why am I not that person anymore? And that's what that song is about.
Have you figured out that answer?
No, but I'm working on it, and I'm coming out the other end right now. I'm starting to feel much better, and so that's good. And also I think one of the reasons why I'm starting to feel better is because I wrote these songs, and then one of my friends, after she heard Mine is a Prison, was like, yo, you can talk to me, and I'm like, I just did. Like I put it in a song and you listen to it, that's all I needed. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I'm starting to feel better, because I'm getting the songs out, and it's like all these things that I wanted to express are finally like sort of like finding their way out into the world.
When in the last year did you write Mind is a Prison?
I think 4 months ago.
So really recently.
Pretty recent, yeah. Yeah, definitely really, really recent. This music that's coming out on this album was written much closer to the release of the record than my last body of work. So sometimes I feel like some of the stuff on my last album, especially because, I was some of those songs were carried over from when I was signed the first time, and songs that I had made for an album that never came out that I wanted to just like get out into the world. I felt like maybe those were like a sort of like a less mature version of myself, and this project is a little more mature.
Not any less real, though.
No, not any less real. It's just a different. I feel
You're
like
in a different place in your life.
Yeah, I'm a different person. I'm definitely a different person. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think so, but I think in the best ways. I've known you for a while now.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, probably 4 years.
4 years,
maybe a little bit longer. Wow. Okay. The violins on OMG are fantastic. Will they stay?
They will stay. That song I'm finishing actually this evening. Yeah, that's gonna be the third or fourth song that comes out. Yeah, so
I'm lost like Will Robinson, a rocket man in space.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I used to watch what's that movie? Lost in Space. Yeah, that's a lyric. My dad used to say to me, he'd be like, never give up, never surrender. And that's like what they would say to Will Robinson. So I put that in the song. We'll see if people get the reference. I'm not sure. Who knows?
Is that like the ultimate message from Mind is a Prison? That no matter how bad it gets, you can escape and fix it?
You gotta I guess the message there is just like to sort of just, I don't know, what is the message in that song? I suppose, I suppose the sort of like the glimmer of hope in that song is like you can't give up and you gotta keep trying to sort of get better and feel better. Yeah. I've also a lot of this, not to go down this rabbit hole, but I've been having like an existential crisis. Like, you ever wake up and just be like, yo, but like, what is this? You know what I mean?
But what fuels that? Is it how
It's
incredible?
never happened to me before. I don't know. I've never had that feeling, but some days I wake up and I'm like, yo, I feel like one day I'm gonna find out this is all like a game. This is not real, And so part of that song is also, I've been thinking a lot about like, do I have any control over anything that's happening in my life? And every time I try to write about that in like a songwriting session or whatever, they're like, yo, you gotta chill out. But that was like that was my way of. Wait, I had a meat stick before this, and I feel like, can you see it? Is it okay?
A meat stick?
Like a little like
a
beef
Slim
jerky.
Jim.
Yeah, not a Slim Jim. It was like a little more like. It was like a little fancier than a Slim Jim.
He had some artisan jerky in his hand.
It was like a. I don't know what brand it was, but it was tight. It was. But I could feel this little piece of beef like right here. So if it drops down into my mouth and I swallow it, that's what it is. But like a lot of okay, cool. I'm like not nervous anymore. Okay, I've been now I've said it. I've been nervous this whole time.
Why?
I don't know. I just put a lot of pressure on myself. I don't know. I just wanna. I'm not sure.
I think you just need to be you.
What did
That's
I
what
tell
got you here.
Yeah. Well.
But what the did I tell you the first time you were here? I said, all you need to do is be you. Because as long as you're you can't do anything wrong.
Did you hear that?
Did you?
I cracked my shoulder.
That's
yeah.
not good.
It felt pretty good. Little ASMR for people who like that. They could put it on loop. I actually don't listen to ASMR because to me it makes me scared.
What?
Some people they really like it.
Yeah.
But to me it makes me really frightened. I don't know why. That's just the emotion that I get.
But is it like a flight frightened or like a?
No, it's like that.
Yeah.
If I could, I can't describe
like a
it.
disgust.
No. Wait, I had a point. What was I gonna say? Why did I talk about that?
We were talking about you just being you.
I just watched so much stress leave your body.
Yeah, I know. I feel so much better now. Oh, because you're like that's what got you here, and I also though like people will say that to me or whatever. I don't really feel like that much has changed. I always feel like every time I write a song, like I'm trying to prove myself. I don't really feel like I've achieved the things that I want to achieve. So I feel like the same person that I was, a year, 2, 3 years ago. I just am more tired now.
But, by the way, I don't see any change in who you are as a person whatsoever. That's why just being yourself in these types of situations will always be dude, you can't go wrong just being you. Because
You still showed up by yourself with a backpack.
Yeah, like not.
That's true. That's true.
Alec, come on.
But in that backpack, I had a face cleanser.
This is new Alec.
This is new Alec.
This is. How
And
he's
I went to
improved.
I went to Walgreens, and I bought those like oil pads for your nose because I get like oily, but I did buy the generic version, so
Oh, saving money.
yeah.
So you're trying
But
to
that's like the upgraded version of me,
less grease, more
So-
money.
But I think that like that's what I kind of. Oh, I'm trying it again. This is a mistake. I think that on this album, like I want it to be like a little bit like of a step up, production wise. I think the last one was kind of still like, all right, like the backpack kid, people thought I was like, some people thought I was, some people would sing my song 1994 and then be surprised that I was, how old I was, and I'd be like, well,
What do you expect?
but like I understand that because I put some songs on there that were like a little bit from a time when I was a little bit. I didn't mean to insult people who are bad at arithmetic. I was pretty bad at basic arithmetic too. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I probably would have made the same mistake, but sometimes people, well, maybe because my voice is pretty high, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. I want this next body of work to be like a little bit more intentional, you know? I feel like the last one I was like still trying to figure it out. I had just been dropped. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Like a lot of it was like, I remember one of the mixes, we put the song together in a garage band, you know, like just figuring out how to make it work. Like this one, I wanted to be like a little bit more, not any less personal or honest or whatever, but I wanted it to just be a little bit more like deliberate and well thought out. And I think that's hard now because I was touring so much, and also the pace at which people release music and then the music is consumed. It leaves you much less time. It leaves you much less of like a buffer period between when you write the songs, put them out, and when you have to make your new stuff. And so I think that sometimes when I put out too much of a volume of music, the quality of the music is not really in as much of a focus. And I wanted this to be really focused on, like, I wanted everything to be a little bit more thought out. Not that I didn't think about the last stuff, but I wanted to be more deliberate this
But by the
time.
way, like you hear that in OMG, like the addition of the violins is a big deal.
Thanks. I didn't produce the songs. I just wrote it. So, but yes, the production is on that song I think is really cool, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yo, beautiful human. Real quick, I want to tell you about my brand of deodorant. It is called Native. And at Native, they create safe, simple, effective products that people use in their bathroom every day. They create products with trusted ingredients and trusted performance. And if you're not convinced, you should check out their over 9,000 five-star reviews. They're all from their customers. This stuff is formulated without aluminum, parabens, and talc. It's filled with ingredients found in nature, such as coconut oil, shea butter, tapioca starch that absorbs the wetness. It's also never tested on animals, and you get free shipping and returns. If you're down to try Native, I use it, I love it, you should try it. If you're in the market for a new deodorant, you should try Native. They're pretty great. For 20% off your first purchase, visit nativedeodorant.com and use the promo code ZachSang during checkout. You needing to write music to heal, being able to release music pretty quickly is a pro, right? Like Mind is a Prison, 3-4 months ago, you were writing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
now that it's out of you and out in the world.
Well, I had some songs that I was supposed to put out some songs earlier, and I said I didn't want to, and I waited. And I put out a couple of songs that I feel like I'm happy I put them out. I think I had bigger expectations for them.
Jesus in LA?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that song anymore. I really thought, like, I was like, oh, this is the one, you know? I guess you never know, but it didn't. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's a beautiful song.
Well, thanks. And I put out the song Must Have Been the Wind before that, and I feel like maybe I should have taken a little more time to wait to put them out, or, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess I overthink everything, so this is why I wrote the Mind is a Prison, why it feels nice for me to have it out, because I don't know.
But did those two songs kind of lead you to Mind is a Prison, like personally?
Maybe they did, yeah, so maybe it was worth it, you know? But I don't know. I just want to make sure that on this, because this is like my debut album, and I've been working for 10 years on my debut album, you know, like trying to get a real album out, like that this is the one that I really sort of make my statement of who I am as a human being, and like I don't look back and go, oh, I probably shouldn't have put that song out, or could have re-sang this vocal or changed that lyric or whatever. I don't want to have any regrets.
So do you have a date?
I do, but I can't give that to you right now.
How far away?
Beginning of not beginning, but like the end of the beginning of next year.
Cool.
So, but there will be like a constant flow of music coming out till the album comes out. So,
What don't you like about Jesus in LA? Is it the production or the lyrics?
I feel like art is kind of like, sometimes, I don't know if this is right, but I feel like art is just taking something and putting it in a different context, and that allows people to sort of like see it in a different light. You know, maybe something that wasn't so beautiful before becomes something that you wouldn't normally think is like beautiful. You put it, you know, you change its surroundings and it becomes beautiful or whatever, you know. I think I don't know if I got all the ingredients right on the song. I think sometimes, like when you're a chef and you taste your own food and it tastes great to you, but maybe you didn't necessarily, maybe there was like something missing that could have just put it over the top or made it better, or I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a story that you needed to tell. That's a dish that you made for you.
Right.
I
do make it for me, but I also make it for other people too.
Yes, but I think it's unfair to say that nobody connected with that record, because I think there's a lot of people, dude, seeing that billboard in LA, people understand that story, and I think a lot of people relate to those feelings. Like this idea that you come to LA and you go after your dreams and it's all hyped up and you're going to come here and it's going to be the freaking Holy Land. But the reality of it is so much darker.
Well, I think that some people thought that it was about like God, and which is not what I wanted the song to be about. And so I was like pretty adamant about the fact that people would, that I had made it clear enough. It's not a fault of the audience for maybe not thinking it's about something else. It's my job as an artist to communicate to them exactly what it is. Like if they don't understand, it's my fault. So I think maybe I somewhere in there could have made it a little differently so that it didn't come off that way.
There can't be any regrets here.
I think
like seriously,
I think
it
that
got you to where you're at.
I think that making music for me is like, I love music. I like the lyrical part. I enjoy that more. Because I think music is like my attempt to be understood. And this is like me being like wanting to tell people how I feel. And so, yeah, that's sometimes I feel like maybe I didn't communicate properly, and then I look back and I feel like disappointed in myself because I just wanted to get my message across, but I didn't accomplish what I was set out to do.
So what message do you want to get across?
Can I drink this water? How far away from the microphone do I have to be so people don't hear it?
People like ASMR, so drink it nice and close.
This one's for you guys. Just kidding. All right.
What message do you want to get across with that song that you didn't?
I just wanted it to be a little bit about like feeling lost and like not necessarily like having your expectations met for what something is supposed to be.
Which
and I think a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but like my friends hit me up and they were like, "Oh man, I didn't know you were like, making religious records now." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not." Yeah.
Wait, what?
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just not. And so I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know how somebody can
I was also in a weird place. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit this.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, better apologize to the headphones.
I have to burp.
Yeah.
Hold on. Cool. All right. I don't know. I was in a weird place when I released all that music. I wasn't really. I have found that sleep is far more important than I had first anticipated. That didn't make sense.
But I also
sorry.
Dude, I think it was a combination of sleep, but you were also dealing with fame for the first time ever.
I'm not famous. Like that's not fame. No, I'm serious.
Dude, shows to a lot of people, of course.
Yeah, but that's not fame. Like I feel like there's a difference between like Justin Bieber is like famous.
Yeah, but you don't think in your subconscious or even in your conscious that you have to deal with like, dude, getting up on stage in front of a festival. I've seen you at festivals.
Yeah, but I mean that's like, I don't know. And also, when I think of fame, I think of like Ellen DeGeneres. She's the first person that popped into my head.
Are you saying you can still walk around outside and not be bothered and noticed?
I mean, I feel like it's happening more frequently that people will come up to me and just be like, "Hey, like I love your music," but that's nothing doesn't bother me. It's not like people are following me to the bathroom or something. It's never uncomfortable.
Well, maybe it wasn't fame, but the idea of
just
success.
Like a little bit of recognition, like maybe is all it is. That's kind of how I feel about it. That's the thing. I don't feel like things are that much different. I feel like I'm still starting from, square one, and I gotta prove myself. And I don't know. I'll tell you actually what has been, I don't know why I keep trying to do that. I'll tell you what has been, there we go. What has been difficult.
Back to where you started?
What has been difficult for me has been just like sort of figuring out the whole social media thing. That's hard. I like doing it, but it sometimes makes me sad.
What is it?
As you smile.
Well, yeah, it makes me sad sometimes.
But is it lack of likes that makes you sad?
Yeah, that. I mean, if I'm gonna be 100% real, and I know that it sounds, I know that it might sound, I don't know, I don't mean to like sound shallow or
No.
anything like that, but you know, like sometimes, yeah, or a mean comment, or like, you know, if something doesn't perform as well as you thought, and then like one week, you know, like people like your pictures, the next week people don't, and it's just like it has an effect on your brain,
Totally.
like a little bit. And I have been struggling with that, and also just like the access that it gives you to look at other people's lives and compare yourself. And I think that has made me feel very low, probably more low than anything else. Maybe that's the reason why I feel like I haven't achieved very much, because I'm always looking at other people, and it's hard in sort of what I do to not like be on social media. And it's stupid for me to say that, because I don't feel like I should feel that way, but I do.
You're not alone in those feelings.
I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure that a lot of people feel this way, but it's
crippling.
It's crippling, and it's hard to talk about because I feel embarrassed by it.
Don't.
But that has definitely like had an effect on me emotionally.
Does that kind of, if you equate that to success, are you now working on figuring out a new definition for what that means? And because you shouldn't, social media can't be the be all end all.
Well, I'm just
and
trying
it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I sort of just take it a little bit less seriously.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're a victim of an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it doesn't even come down to somebody choosing to not like your stuff or liking it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't even need to rationalize it, or like, you know, it just is what it is. That has being on my phone a lot more has I think had an effect on like how my brain operates.
It's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You still have shows all the time.
You don't sleep a lot, and then you kind of on your phone all the time looking at a screen. And then yeah, also what's weird too is like, you know, one day you could, you know, I live with my mom and dad, so, you know, it's like one day you're at John Mayer's house and the next day you're at your mom's house, you know? And like it's like there's a very big disparity between those two things. Not that being with my family isn't like a desirable thing, because it is, and it's what truly fills my heart. But not that the other things I'm doing don't fill my heart, they do too. But there's like a very high highs, you know, and sometimes it can even make just like regular sort of life seem like it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you're not living up to what you could be.
Exactly.
And where you were.
Mm-hmm. So that I think has like a weird, your brain is not really like programmed to deal with those kinds of sort of ups and downs.
I totally understand that. Will Alec and Alex make it onto the album?
Which one is that? It's probably just, well, I wrote it with Alec, so it could have been a lot of different songs.
You could have just that could have just been the name for it.
Okay, I think it's probably what I titled it, but I don't know what song you're talking about.
It's a love story.
Is it called The Book of You and I?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
It is so beautiful.
Thank you. I wrote that actually 2 years ago, and then I wasn't gonna do anything with it, but then I listened back to it, and my mom told me I should, and I think she was right.
Oh,
I like the song.
Phenomenal.
What's it about?
In a nutshell, it's about a love story that you say
Yeah.
it started for you at 16.
I'll tell you what it's about. It's about I had my first relationship was in high school, like freshman year. So I was actually 14, but 16 sounded better in the song, so I did that. I wasn't lying. It's just like, you know, it's a poetic license. But I was dating. I couldn't even drive a car, so we were together. We went to the mall. We went to the mall together like 3 times. It was really cool for me. And I remember we were together sort of towards the end of our freshman year, and then summer was coming up, and she said, "Well, you know, I think that it'd be better for us to sort of be apart for the summer." And I said, "Me too," you know. and in my head, I was like, but she was like, when we get back to school, we can talk about getting back together. And I was like, all right, cool. So we got back to school. We were at orientation. She came up to me and she was like, by the way, I don't think that we should really be together anymore. And I was like, me neither, you know. But like my heart was broken, and I feel like I never said my piece. So that song is me being like saying my piece.
And you essentially write a whole story of what you could have been.
Yeah, I love that. That's probably my favorite chorus that I ever written. Not for, I don't know if it's like the catchiest thing I've ever done, but just lyrically, I feel like I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish. And it's quirky and fun, and the words tie together in a way that I like.
Can you recite a little piece of it?
Yes. The lyrics are, "Don't tell me that it's over, the book of you and I, that you've scribbled out my name and you've erased my favorite lines. There were so many chapters that we never got to write, like cereal for dinner and staying up all night. I remember where we started, I remember how you looked, but now I'm missing bits and pieces from the pages that you took. You didn't give a reason, I'll forever wonder why. We never got to finish the book of you and I."
Beautiful.
That's what it is. Yeah, I like it. I like how it's bookended, and it's bookended by lyrics that are talking about a book. And that to me, like, it makes me so happy, you know?
And this is about a story that happened like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yes, it is. But still, I think about it.
Are you going to share that song with her? Do you know where she's at?
Actually, I know where she is, and she's married. So, and then I wrote another song about it called "Now She's Getting Married." And okay, she'll probably see. Maybe she'll see this. I don't know. But I remember I hadn't talked to her in a while. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus or anything here, because we're like still friends, you know. But we hadn't talked in a while, and my friend Elena heard the song that I wrote. "Now She's Getting Married." And obviously, my friend knew what I was talking about, so she goes, "I'm gonna send this to, you know, I won't say a name." She goes, "I'm gonna send this to her." And I was like, "Oh, I'd appreciate it if you didn't." She's like, "Well, I'm gonna do that anyways," which is what best friends are for, you know. They like to embarrass you. And so she sent her the song, and then I wake up the next day and I get a message from the girl, and she's like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you, like, you know, how are things?" It just randomly popped into my head. I was like, "Oh, for sure." I don't remember what your question was.
You get to share it with her, but she.
Oh yeah. It. Oh, so point being is she'll probably hear it. Yeah, my friends will probably send it to her.
So she heard "Now She's Married."
Yes.
And now it's the next follow up.
Yeah.
That was written before "Now She's Married."
This was written after.
Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can sing this at her wedding for her.
Yeah, I'm sure her husband would be thrilled. She's already married, so if she gets remarried, maybe, you know, I hope that that was a terrible thing to say. I'm not hoping that she gets divorced. That wouldn't be cool. All right, sure. Next question.
Do you have time nowadays for girlfriends and dating, or are you too busy?
I'm sorry?
Do you have time?
I'm getting a call. Hold on. I have to, no, I'm just kidding. I can't, next question. No, I'm just kidding. A little, I got some time. I got some time.
So, like, now that you've not realized, but I think you've always known, but like you were reminded of it fairly recently, that living is the key to inspiration, and that's the key to art flowing. Do you feel this need and this motivation to live your life? I do, and actually, that's one of the reasons that's why I've been happier. I've been living my life a little bit more, and just like, you know, I remember on the last tour, I was, we went to all these amazing cities that I'd never been to before, and my friends would be like, who I was touring with, they'd be like, "Yo, do you want to go around and go check out the city?" And I'd be like, I gotta go back to my bunk and send some emails. I got work to do, you know. And I missed everything. And on this last tour is the first time where, like, we met a couple of people just hanging out who lived in Paris, and they were like, "Do you guys want to hang out and we'll show you around the city?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we stayed out with them, like me and a bunch of the guys from the tour. We stayed out with them till like 5 a.m. and we walked around the whole city and got to see everything. And like, I was exhausted the next day, but I was really happy that I did it. I just lived, yeah, and I got to see the place, which is like, what's the point of doing all this stuff and traveling if I don't even get to see it, you know? By the way, I have a lot of friends who it took 1 or 2 tours for them to realize that. Okay. Well, so don't beat yourself up. Same, yeah. I mean, but now I'm like really happy that I did it. But I'm always afraid though. Like, I'm always afraid that everything that I've sort of built is gonna disappear if I don't keep, you know, working. So I'm like, oh. Yeah, but what is work if not living and then writing about it? Well, I'm starting to know the value of living and having things to write about. That should be your only focus. I say that with love. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know that's not like that's easier said than done when you are a music mogul who should be at PDD's parties. A music mogul. But I don't know. Yeah, well, I think that you're right.
And before I thought I knew what I was talking about. And I was like, no, man, I just gotta work and I think I do, but also I'm realizing now that it's important to take care of my body and to also take care of like my heart and my soul and like go do fun things that fill me up, and then I can write about them.
Demons, will that be on the album?
That will be on the album. I also have a fairly interesting relationship with that song. I loved it, then I hated it, and then I liked it, and now I don't know. So
who are you singing to?
Well, it's about just like having sort of these issues that you're dealing with, and it's about like the one person that you can kind of count on, who maybe they don't understand necessarily what you're going through, but they're there to support you and they don't ask questions. And even sometimes when you take them for granted, they still stay by your side. And that's what that song is about. And I have that song is sort of for a few different people in my life. It's not just one person. But at the time, I had someone in my head, but I won't say their name.
I've got all these demons hiding underneath. Nobody can see them. Nobody but me. But you're the reason that
keeps me from diving off the deep end.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, do you share this with that one person, because that's a heavy thing? Like,
oh yeah, I did.
And do they appreciate it, or they go, "Oh, that was a lot of pressure"?
Actually, do you want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl that I liked, and I sent her the song, and I said, I made this for you. And she said, wow. And then 4 months later, she forgot about the song, and then I made it for her. So I did, but it wasn't necessarily received the way I thought it was going to be received. So whatever, it's okay.
What was her feedback? Wow.
Well, she was like, I like that song that you sent me a while back. She was like, oh man, I can't remember what happened exactly, but I do remember. I was like, yeah, but I sent it to you. Like, don't you remember? Like, I sent you this thing, or she was like, oh no, I swear I'd remember that, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You probably would. Never mind.
but you definitely sent her that song.
I definitely did say that it was for her.
And
but it's okay.
Do you think she's embarrassed? You don't want to like?
Oh no, it's okay. No, I don't think she's embarrassed. My goal was not to embarrass her, and I hope that she doesn't get mad that I said anything about it. But it doesn't matter. It wasn't upsetting to me. Anyways,
you lived.
I only cried for a little bit. So
did you? You did cry
about that? No, I didn't cry about that.
Okay,
but
cool.
This year also, without saying too much about it, I had a family member who was sick, and like serious, like it was a serious thing. They're okay now. But having to go deal with that at the same time while I'm doing all this work was really hard. And being away from home and not being able to be home while they were, going through stuff was hard for me.
Do you write a record about that? A song about it?
I think that the struggles that are reflected in this album, a lot of them came from that, but I also wanted to respect the person's privacy, so I didn't put anything about it on my album.
It's interesting to see from the outside looking in, you're out selling out shows, traveling the world, making music. I would think you're living your best life, but you're in here saying, like, no, it's not it. I
mean, I'm grateful, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but I think that, I'm not trying to, I'm not looking for pity or to say that, that I'm going through some, crazy stuff or I'm complaining, because that's not the point. But I suppose, I guess you don't, I think I don't know, I guess that's kind of one of the things about social media, too, is that, everybody is putting, their sort of things on the internet and just showing you, the best pieces. They don't always really talk about the things that they're going through that are maybe sort of troubling them. And so that's what I wanted to do on this record, and is just be real. Yeah.
Caught in the Middle.
Mm-hmm.
That was the name of the tour.
Yeah, that was because I was going to put Jesus in LA and Demons out, and it was supposed to be between heaven and hell, and then I never released the song, so it didn't make any sense.
but was it not still the name of the tour?
It is still the name of the tour. I just don't think anyone understands why that was the name, but no one ever asked the question.
Yeah, but now it has a bigger meaning to me, now that I hear about your relationship with Tor. And
see, this is the wonderful thing about art, is that everybody gets a cool can get a different meaning out of it, and they can derive their own sort of meaning. And had you told me that that was your interpretation before you brought it up, I would have said that's what I meant, and I wouldn't have told you that. But I suppose that maybe that's why.
I feel like a lot of stuff goes on in your subconscious and your conscious, and like I feel like the universe.
Everyone's.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think that stuff comes out differently. It manifests differently. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I've been thinking about that stuff a lot. Like, how much choice do I have in all of these things? And when I'm if you ask me a question and I'm like thinking about it, you'll ask me something, right? And I get served up these options in my head. It's like, okay, well, you could say these 3 things, and it's like, but that's not like those. Like, you don't control, like, these things are just happening, Okay, there's like a whole other wormhole that we don't want to go into. But, yeah, that's been, like, troubling me a lot, too. Because then I'm like, but if I don't have any choice, then what does all this mean? And
so you think we're living in, like, a simulation? Is that what you're
I
trying
don't
to say?
know.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know.
We're not living in a simulation. I think the universe works for you, but you also have decisions, and you can make choices.
All right.
Right? You don't feel like you have control over your own choices?
Well, that's what Mind is a Prison is about. It's like, it's like, can I say the lyrics?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't live in, or wait, what is it like? I don't wait. Oh, yeah, I don't live in California. That's not where I reside. I'm just a tenant paying rent in this body and inside this body, and I got 2 windows, and those windows, I'll call them my eyes. I'm just going where the wind blows. I don't get to decide. And that's like my little sort of like, okay, I know it's like, no one's going to want to hear me go on this whole thing about free will, but that's my little, like, tip in my hat to, like, talking about free will. And, like, I don't always feel like it's my choice, no.
But even, okay.
Because I never wake up and, like, choose to be in a bad mood, Sometimes it just happens to me. And I'm like, oh, man, I wish I didn't feel like this, but I just do.
But what is the one thing that should stay consistent?
What do you mean?
Like, even if you don't have free will to feel the way you feel or to be put in the positions you've been put in or to whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't there be like?
I don't know if that's the case.
But even if it is, like, what is the one thing that's consistent?
Well, the only
Writing
thing that
about
I
it?
can do is I'm gonna act as if I do. So it doesn't really matter, When this is what happens in a tour bus when you don't have anyone to talk to, you go into these deep YouTube wormholes and sort of like think about this kind of weird stuff. So
what is your purpose in this large video game that we're living in?
I have no idea. I don't know what my purpose is. I wish I knew. If I knew, that would be pretty cool, but I don't. Do you know what my purpose is or your purpose is?
I think your purpose is to write songs that are relatable and to entertain people. You're the entertainment of the video game.
And what is your what do you how do you
What is mine?
I know that's a big question.
I haven't figured out my purpose yet.
Okay. Well,
I know your purpose. I don't know my purpose.
okay.
I don't know if your purpose is. I think it's to entertain, but I think it's to share stories in different ways. I think it's to create these vivid, beautiful stories that.
People are gonna think I'm crazy after having watched this.
Maybe. No.
Maybe I'm a little crazy. I don't know.
I mean, who isn't?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, but I think your purpose is deeper than just entertainment. I think you tell very relatable stories that you tell stories that everybody has gone through and can feel and understand, and you tell them in very different ways. I think Aesop's Fables is the only thing I can really compare your stuff to. In a way.
Thanks.
It's very deep.
That's really cool. I think like the thing that is always like maybe is a struggle for me a lot of the time too is that I love I also have a desire to I love pop music and I want to write things that are catchy, but at the same time I also want to talk about things that are important to me that are not necessarily sort of the things that you would talk about traditionally in a pop song. And so I'm trying to get that balance right.
OMG.
I hope that one of the songs on this next album is one of those that will sort of speak to a wide audience of people, but address a topic that is important to me and maybe not necessarily one that is widely discussed.
You're gonna have it.
I hope so.
And I do think you've had it already, but it's getting stronger and stronger. And I think
thanks.
that's a balance and a muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's formula, but it's also genuine, true storytelling and art that you don't want to sacrifice, but you want to put it in a certain way so it could reach the most amount of people and have the most impact.
Right. Yeah, it's like, you're just cooking up stuff in the kitchen, and then, I've kind of gone like, tasted it a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay, it tastes good to me, it's right temperature, and then I'm gonna like feed it to other people, and they'll be like, or they'll like it, We'll see.
Well, speaking of that, quickly, I just want to ask one question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sent John something that he did do that to, that you're like, this song's great, and you sent it to him, and he's like, no?
He is always giving me the best feedback possible, and I try to only send him songs that I'm proud of. But he liked Mind is a Prison and was like, I love this song, and I am using that chef analogy because that is the one that he used, and he was like, no matter how messy it gets in the kitchen, you came out with like a great dish. And so I was like, tight, I'm gonna put this song out first.
Is that the most impactful piece of feedback he's ever given you?
I've learned so much stuff from him. It's hard for me to say which one has the most value, and I also haven't lived long enough to know which one will have the most value to me in the future.
Okay, so I get that. It's good. It's a good political answer.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. There's so many things.
Is there something that like he's bestowed upon you that you feel like you lean on?
Well, he said sort of a similar thing. It was just like, just do you, don't try to be someone else. Yeah, so.
Final thought?
I think we covered it all.
We really have. Hey, Alec Benjamin.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
And thank you guys for always like giving me a place to come and share my thoughts and everything. I appreciate it. You guys are the best.
For as long as I exist, I can't wait. I'll be playing your music and sharing your art, and you have an open whenever you want.
Oh, thanks.
I love you with every fiber of my being, and I can say this, that you are truly one of my favorite artists to ever exist.
Thank you.
Your music is beautiful, and people should listen to it if you haven't, but you probably have. And your music's beautiful.
Thank you.
And don't let the mainstream hooky, catchy, get in the way.
All right.
It's a balance. You're figuring it out.
All right.
Alec,
hey, thanks.
Love.
Cool.
Hey, beautiful human. Thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.